Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. So let's start with our card base here for this one. It's super simple because it's a half a sheet of cardstock, just like you would any A2 size card. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and we're gonna score this one. I'm gonna grab my Simply Score tool. Just like you would a standard card, you're gonna pop in on the 8.5 inch side and score at 4 1/4. Then you're gonna score halfway across the cover at 2 1/8. So 8.5 inch side, 2 1/8, 4 1/4. Now we're gonna Z-fold this. Let me grab my bone folder, and we're going to fold like a standard A2 card on 4 1/4, and then we're going to fold backwards on 2 1/8, making a Z-fold. So that's our base. Now at this point you can do these either way. So if you wanted a portrait orientation for your card, you'd have a fun little Z-fold open just like this. When you do it on a landscape orientation, you can add the little stopper and make yourself that fun little easel card. A real wow showstopper without any more work than your traditional Christmas card. This will be displayed on mantelpieces all over the United States. And it's kind of fun because if your recipient wanted to, they can pack it up with the Christmas decorations and bring it out each year. And isn't that pretty cool? The next thing I want to do is grab my buffalo check. I love the buffalo check background with the Merry Moose bundle. The Merry Moose bundle is coming back. It's coming back with a bundle discount, which I love. It'll be in the holiday catalog, and the buffalo check is just the perfect partner for that one. We're going to do our background stamping, but you'll notice that we've got our background stamping on the outside tab, or in the outside panel, and we've also got it on the inside panel. But see, it lines up nicely. And with the buffalo plaid, that's important that it lines up nicely. If you're doing random stamping, no big deal. But because you got this plaid, we want to get that as close as possible. We want to line that up, even though these two parts are panels away. So let me show you how I did that. This is going to be a fun tip right here. I'm going to grab my Stamparatus, and I've already got my little buffalo check on there. Now what I did first, I'll show you. Got a couple of layers of small grid paper here. That's important. When you're using your Stamparatus, be very careful. Your magnets want to be together. Don't let them be, because they'll come together hard and they will hurt. They'll break, they'll pinch your fingers, so keep them separate. But you're going to want to hold the grid paper in here. So the first thing I did was I put in a piece of the small grid paper. I put my card in, and then I marked the corners on the grid paper. Once I got my corners marked on the grid paper and my paper in nice and tight there, you can put your magnets back in now at this point. I'm going to put one here, and I was keeping my magnets so far apart I can't find my other one. And I'm going to put one over here for now. We just want to keep it clear of the stamp, but it helps to keep our grid paper in place. Now we've got our buffalo check. Oh, you know what? My stamp might be messy, so let's do it this way. We're going to do the inside first instead of the outside first. Fold your card inside out. We're going to do the inside first. All right, so we're going to line up our stamp so that it's nice and straight using our grid paper so that it covers the entire base. You see that? So we've placed our stamp first. Now we'll close our Stamparatus and pick up the stamp. See how dirty it was. Oh, not too bad. I thought for sure I was going to make my card base a mess. All right, keep your card base in those lines, because those are the lines that are going to help you line up the outside plaid with the inside plaid. All All right, got mint macaron ink over here. And we're gonna ink up our stamp. I'm all inked, and now I'm going to apply the buffalo check to the inside of the card. And just take your time and get good even pressure on that image. And you really do want to just burnish around. I usually hold still with one hand while the other hand walks and wanders. All right. Nice part about the Stamparatus is you can put it right back in the marks and do a little stronger if you want to. I like that it looks a little fuzzy. It looks like flannel. Some people don't like that about this stamp, but it is just the way that it stamps. All right, we've got our inside. So now we're going to fold back our outside. And here's where our second piece of small grid paper comes in. Gonna lift the magnet from the right-hand side. Tuck the grid paper inside. Now you're gonna line up your corners. You wanna put it exactly back in those corners where it was. So I'm checking this side, and then I'm gonna check this side, make sure everything looks good. Then I'm gonna put my magnet all the way back on my right-hand edge here. I'm gonna ink my stamp again. We're going to, my lamps are in the way. Go ahead and stamp our outside plaid now. And because of the little grid paper, marking those corners, not moving our stamp in the process, we're gonna get a nice continuous pattern outside and inside. So I don't know if you're like me and kind of a perfectionist that way. I was wondering, how am I going to line this up? I really wanted the buffalo check, and I wanted it inside, and I wanted it entirely inside, because when you open up, I wanted the buffalo check all the way around. But knowing that it had such a strong vertical horizontal pattern, so enter the Stamparatus, the gift that keeps on giving. All right, so there it is. We've got a couple of die cut crumb cake rectangles here. There's two of them. These are the second largest, cut with the stitched rectangle dies. This is 4 3/4 by 3 3/8 approximately. And I've got my designer series paper from Poinsettia Place. Isn't this gorgeous? This is brand new designer series paper coming out in the holiday catalog. Let me show you a couple of more patterns here from this one. I thought this was kind of a sleeper in the catalog, and now I'm using it and I'm in love with it. I love the earthy greens and browns, the holly, the pine cones. Get some nice kind of general, I don't know, what are these, scroll patterns? Garden green, mint macaron, old olive. The wood grain is going to be great with that mousse. And then this one, I love the berries. So not a paper pack that I was super excited about in the catalog, but getting the papers, especially a little bit of everything, really does help you decide which ones are really your favorites, because sometimes which ones are my favorites surprises me. So look out for the holiday product or the holiday product sampler. That information is coming soon. I've just got to get it typed up. If I just had a few more hands, but we're gonna glue that. This piece is 4 1/2 by 3 1/8. Then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna add adhesive only to the top half. If you go past the top half, you're gonna glue your card closed. So let's just handle that right off the bat. This, while we're doing it, let's do both. It'll make it easier for us to line them up. And then this inside one, that one gets glue all the way around. So the one with the designer series paper goes on the outside. All right, so inside our card, we're gonna center the No Designer Series paper. I like to center this guy first, and then we will close up our card and line this guy up right on top so that it's completely concealed when the card's closed. And there, my friends, is our Z-fold. Not too bad. Let me clear away this ink pad before I have a problem. I've got a scrap of crumb cake and a scrap of Poppy Parade and a scrap of Whisper White. Let's make a mousse. This is my favorite part, after all. And I am using soft suede. It's dark enough, but it's not confused for black, and I like that. We're going to stamp a hat on white, and we're going to stamp a mousse on crumb cake. Watch the orientation of your punch. You need his feet down so that it'll go into the punch easily. And then I've got my little scarf image here. We're going to stamp that with Poppy Parade on Poppy Parade. It just will give us a line really to cut around so that we can cut that scarf out. And it'll be nice and bold and red. I'm going to do some greetings. We're already got the ink pads out. So there's the pieces for our mousse, and they can dry a little bit so we don't smear them when we go to punch. This guy is a little label that I cut using the ornate frames. So it's this smaller little swoopy stitched label, that one. And then this is, you need about 1/2 inch by 3. Mine's a little bit longer than that. Use up your scraps, but you need it to be about 3 inches. We're going to stamp our Happiest of Holidays for the outside greeting. We need to leave enough room for the ribbon on the left side, so keep that in mind. And for the inside of the card, of course, we need Merry Christmas. I couldn't imagine sending one of these cards without Merry Christmas on it. There's some cute little greetings in this set, but Merry Christmas is a must. Let's see. I love the enjoy the stillness of the season. That's my favorite little greeting in there. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas and have a cozy Christmas. Those are the other greetings. All right, let me clear away the ink pads. And we're going to do a little punching and cutting. I just colored the hat, little Poppy Parade, and I'm going to cut right along the line as best I can. When I get to a little puff, because it's white, then I get a little looser. It doesn't matter if I'm right on the line there, but it looks better on the moose's head if you can get it right on the line. I love to fussy cut, so this isn't a big deal for me. If it is for you, then consider possibly putting your little moose on a white background. We're going to put him on mint macaron for this one. And then stamp the hat on the background, kind of behind the moose. I'm a good fussy cutter and love to do it. It literally is my sanity, cutting and coloring. So I would go ahead and cut these guys out. And there's our little scarf. Clear away these. Now, let's see about some multi-purpose liquid glue here. Sometimes it works better than others, especially on camera. Little smidge on the brim of the hat. We're going to dress our moose. It's like moosey paper dolls. There's my little moose. Isn't he cute? It's like moose paper dolls and I can't even stand it. All right, he's going to dry for just a second and then we'll get some dimensionals on the back of him. I've got a 2 1/4 inch circle punch here and a scrap of mint macaron. Okay, the 2 1/4 inch circle layers lovely on the largest Tasteful Labels dies. So this is the new Tasteful Labels dies. It's that largest one. And then 2 1/4 inch circle. Look at how perfect that layer is. Let's glue those two down. Center that right guy in there. So perfect. Now my tailored tag punch has magically arrived. Let's do the ends here. Remember to give yourself a little extra room on the Happiest side for the ribbon. And you can get a little closer on the holidays side. And a good way to figure that out is to find your greeting and then back it out to where you think you want it to be. I don't know what I'll do if this ever retires and I have to do this with scissors again. All right, this one is from the Beautiful Bows Dies. Let me show you that die set. This one's in the annual catalog. It's carried over for a little bit now. Gorgeous die set. Pine cones and boughs and these amazing labels. Very, very beautiful die set. All right, this guy needs to come in here, and this guy needs to come in here, and this guy, and this guy. So we're gonna assemble our label pieces, and we need some of this. Have you guys seen this shot? This is the All the Trimmings ribbon combo pack. It's got this gorgeous poppy parade with a copper edge, and then old olive with a copper edge. And you get them together, 2 spools. They are, I believe, 5 yards of each. 10 yards total, 5 yards of each, yep. This is coming August 4th in the new holiday catalog. Don't forget, it's almost time to use your bonus days coupons. And then I'm going to trim down, get a couple of half a minis here, because I want one at the end of each of these branches. This is going to give them a little lift because it's going to go down flat behind the greeting, but have a little bump all the way at the end of the branch. I like to do 2 level adhesives where down here it'll be flat, but at the ends it gives a little bump. All right, this guy first. The legs are so skinny. They are so skinny. That's what makes him so cute. Happiest of Holidays is going to go on flat, and we're going to tuck it right underneath our moosey feet. We want just a little bit of that label to show. There we go. I'm not burnishing that down all the way because I'm going to tuck my little branch behind, and I want a little dab of multi-purpose liquid glue on the stem of the branch here. Just a little bit. I don't want it to tear, but I don't want to mess either. And then we'll slide this guy underneath. Don't want to glue that to the table. Let's bring our card back in here. We need some glue. I'll do a little multi-purpose liquid glue on my label. And then this guy goes a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit right of center. We are okay if our branches go past the edge a little bit. Make sure he's level. I don't want him trudging uphill. This gorgeous ribbon. Let's make a bow. I was a little generous. It's a little bit long in the loops and tails. I love mint macaron with poppy parade. I don't know if you guys have discovered that color combination. I love mint macaron and poppy parade. So this was a good way to get a nice dose of poppy parade without it looking awkward. When you've got something like this where it's a real pop, a real contrast, you want to look for that 3, that triangle of those eye-catching elements. So the hat, the scarf, and then the ribbon was the perfect choice. See how we've got the harsh pop of color here in the poppy parade, and then how the bow balances that out by making that visual triangle. It gives you some balance on your card. So there is a method to the madness usually. We got a really skinny ribbon here, so I'm going to take your pick tool and I'm going to fold my glue dot in half. Now it's on the end of my take your pick tool. Put it on the back of the knot. Now it's on the ribbon. Put the ribbon on the card. No struggle at all. See how easy that was? My tails are a little long here. Gratuitously long. We don't need gratuitously long ribbon. Who am I kidding? We do. I can't do a card without ribbon. I love the textures, the different textures. All right, we're almost there. Slide this guy to the side for a second. Bring in this guy. I couldn't just put my little white label. I wanted that little bit of a pine branch. I thought that the whole thing was too much. So we're gonna do a little surgery. Save this guy for another project. Perfectly good for the next one. And dimensionals. I know it's strange to put dimensionals inside of the card, but it will be fine, I promise. And it'll provide that little stopper so that our little showstopper card can be on display. I'm gonna pop this guy in where I want it. I want it to breach the edge of the crumb cake, but I want it to stay in the board on the border on the other side. And I want my Christmas right of center. Nice and straight with my stitches. Once I've got that, pick up the branch before burnishing it down. Kind of get a dry fit audition. Then you want to glue this guy down with a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue spread out all over. You want this to be nice and flat so that when your easel comes up, it doesn't catch and lift this. It might stop on it and stand a little taller, and that's okay, but you don't want this to take the branch up off of the inside of the card. So make sure you get that nice and secure without too much mess. Keep spreading it around and you won't have as much ooze. And then this guy gets a little bit too. Go back for our perfect placement there, nice and level. And burnish everybody down nice and tight. If the glue oozes, I just pick it up on my fingertips and wipe it away. So there's our card. Here's our card standing. If there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com and shop 24/7, marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. I hope you guys have a really awesome weekend. Thanks for joining me.